This is more Q&A. We don't want to leave you guys hanging. Welcome to Seven Figure Entrepreneur Podcast. We're not doing a podcast today because we got so many good questions up in here that we just feel like we got to answer them for you, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, the questions are getting more serious. I got a coffee. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Ooh.
The good stuff. That was actually one of my best COVID purchases. I got a wonderful espresso machine.
Makes the day better. I love it.
It's been put to work, man. It's been put to work. All right. So I don't know, man. Do you want to just go top to bottom here? I'm looking at this image. I think you're looking at this image too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the first thing I want to say, shout out to Tom King. He hit me up on Facebook. We're doing that coffee, buddy. Let's do it.
T King, are you going to fly him out? I think you should fly him out and then involve him on the interview process, and then he can preach to how much I've taught him on Facebook.
I'd be down. I'd be down to fly out Tom King. He has to find his own place to live, though.
That's not true, man. You got a 2-bedroom. Don't be fucking doing that shit to T King.
Hey, don't tell him about that.
we got the points to fly him anywhere he wants to go. So we're good. Them Facebook points.
Actually, I wonder how many Amex points we have right now.
I bet you a lot. Unless we've been paying shit off with those, which I doubt.
I think
there's
a few. Anyways, you want to get started?
Yeah.
Look this up.
So Ruben Resendez, our man, he was on this podcast. He did a great podcast, man. He's the EDU lead gen king over there. He knows what's up.
Yeah, we've actually sold him a bunch of EDU leads. He's been great to work with.
That's fantastic. So his question is, what is the best media buying team structure you have seen? So Tyler might be able to answer this one better because honestly, it's just me and my boy Brandon. And the way we have it set up is we do a rev share. Right now he gets, I'll just tell the world. He gets first 4K of profit, and then he gets a percentage after that. That's USD for all you Canadian folks that are watching. But as we grow in terms of profit and stuff, we'll definitely give him more, because if he's making 100 G a month, I'm not going to take like a majority of that money because he worked for that shit. So that's how we do it. It's super simple. Tyler, you have a couple Facebook deals lined up. I'm not sure how you have those set up, but
yeah, it varies. There's stuff we do strictly on rev share. There's agencies we've hired, we play them flat fee. It's my belief that to get someone who's a rock star, it's going to cost you. And there's a lot of benefits too that, you know, from a meter buyer perspective that they can get working direct. Like I know you specifically, Ruben, you know, you got special ties with Facebook where from a media buyer perspective, if they don't have to worry about counts going down, they have steady cash flow, that can be very intriguing to them. But to get someone who's a killer, in my opinion, there has to be some sort of upside that makes sense. If you're looking for someone who's junior or moderate, you could probably do something where you give them like some sort of base and the percentage of upside, obviously a smaller percentage of upside than someone who's like a straight killer. But in my opinion, someone who's really good at media buying, if they're not an agency and they're down to do agency work, you just got to make it super lucrative on the upside for them. By the way, I just looked. I think we cashed in some points. We still got 2.2 million points left. So let me know where you want to go, Gabe.
That's amazing. Well, I'm still owed a bachelor party or a stag, so
that's true.
We got to put those to use. We can use points for private jets, right?
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, you can actually.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny. One day I'll get that bachelor party. Fuck you, COVID. But yeah, man, I think you answered that well. I don't know very well structure. I feel like for me, like I'm a decent media buyer, and if someone gave me the opportunity of like part of a company, like, hey, come in, work for us, we'll give you a salary and you get a piece of company. We kind of give us the overview of like, hey, we plan on selling or we plan on doing this. I'd be definitely intrigued by that, because I've been hearing about all these people that are jumping in these companies and they just like ride out a company from company to company and like wait for that buyout. And like, if you get stocks in or shares in a company and they sell in like 3 to 4 years and they're getting like huge dollar amounts out of that, like I would put in that time hands down, man.
And that comes back to, like, we were having a discussion before this, but just like, how do you measure or quantify the value someone brings to the table? Like Gabe, for example, he's really good at like blowing shit up. Like I can't go to Gabe and be like, hey, here's a campaign that will do 10 grand a day. Like it's just not going to make sense. But if it's something you can do 50, 60K a day, that's where Gabe is really good, is on the scaling side of things. And if you're adding, you know, say 20 grand profit to your bottom line, like what does that look like on the sale? If it makes sense, that becomes a no-brainer for bringing on someone who's high level. But at the same time, if you're smaller, it might not. And even when we first brought on Brendan, we wanted to think of a way where we could make it where the risk was minimal on our end. Because if you just give someone like a salary without performance metrics tied, I think in this world where you do need to have a bit of a killer instinct, I think you could have someone who just sits on their ass. So he's motivated from that perspective to perform, because if he doesn't, you know, he's going to be figuring out how to eat for the month. And so it's tied in, but it's also fair to him. So what he produces initially, he gets to keep. And so there's all types of ways you could do the deal. But like, I would really think about value. What is the value this person is in the grand scheme of where you're going with things? Two, obviously, you know, any deal you make sure you have a way to get out of it. And then the third thing, you know, based on what, you know, their experience, like, are they the right fit? Are they who you need at this point? And, you know, one thing we've been doing lately, or I've been doing on my end, is just hiring, like looking at a few different agencies, because they all perform, you know, a little bit differently. And a lot of respects, like for where I'm focusing my time and effort right now, it's not dealing with the day-to-day shit with Facebook as far as like this account goes down, got set somewhere else. Like there's so many other things to worry about that it's worth it for me. Like there's one agency we pay, you know, 10 grand a month to manage. There's another one we pay less. And like, you know, the one we pay more right now has been way more beneficial. But there's just options, man. There's definitely options. If you ever want to chat about it, dude, I'd be happy to pop on a call. But at the end of the day, a good media buyer could really take your company and your valuation to a whole other level.
I also like the agency side of things as well, because they just kind of handle full circle. You know, they handle creatives, they handle scaling, they handle everything. All you have to do is kind of give them your like company story, what you're looking to achieve, what's your ideal like CPA or CPL, and then they kind of go to town. That being said, there's probably a lot of shitty ones out there. Like I hear a lot of people have horror stories, or not so much horror stories, but have bad experiences with agencies and stuff.
You have to watch them. Like if you hand your campaign to an agency and let them run like the way they think's best, I promise you, it's not, at least from my experience, we've worked with a few now. There's just places you have to push, and you got to keep them accountable. You have to remind them of their CPA targets. Like it's not as quickly as like sign a contract and walk away. I have not seen that work, and I think we've worked with 5 now. So we've had some experience. But if you stay on top of them, you're checking in. Like we see them sometimes linked to the wrong landing page and stuff. Like that shit will happen.
Really?
So you need to keep an eye on them. But overall, in the grand scheme, you know, it does. If you're only worried, you know, putting 5% as opposed to 100% in, you know, it can definitely play off well.
I think it just comes down to nobody's going to give a shit about your shit as much as you do.
100%.
Yeah.
I like the way Gary Vee talks about that, actually. He makes a good point. No one's going to care as much as you at the end of the day.
I know, man. I stopped following Gary Vee. He had a lot of good things to say, and like was great, but he was just too intense for me. I'm like, bro, you need to dial your shit back. I want to hear your message. I don't want to hear it yelled at me.
Yeah, right.
All right. Next one we have here.
How's the industry changed since you started? That's a good question.
Yes. I think we got to say his name though. Daniel Shank. What is it?
Oh, I just see his Instagram name.
Yeah, that's all I see.
You're looking at that one? I was looking at the one right below Ruben.
Oh, completely missed that. You know what? I should probably go to this Instagram and see if it shows their real names here.
So their question is, how has the industry changed since you started? I don't know if it's necessarily how the industry has changed. I think how we work within the industry has been like the bigger change that we've seen. Do you agree with that, Gabe?
Yeah, it's really hard to do two things at once. I think just, yeah. So I sorry, I
You
don't
know
know
this
what you
guy's name
said.
by the name?
I can't find it. That's what I was trying to find.
Tugnate?
But I think the industry's changed. Well, the bread or like kind of like the simple breakdown of it hasn't changed, but how you do things has definitely changed. How much of a better
Oh, this is
entrepreneur?
Pawan.
What?
Pawan. I
Pawan?
don't know who this is. Anyways.
Anyway. Yeah, I think that you just have to be a better marketer. I think that the simple like breakdown of the industry hasn't overly changed, but just how you do things has changed in a sense.
I think if anything, now there's been more opportunity than ever. Maybe because I've been in it longer, and that probably has a lot to do with it. But having creativity right now on the online game is massive. Like there's
How do you
different things
think
we've
that
been
there's
trying.
more now?
Just because there's like more relationships where, as opposed to so many things going through network, you can get direct. And then there's things like, it's like, well, their contact rates are low. Cool, we can do something about that. Before, they'd just be like, no more leads from this affiliate, leads are shit. Like
Well,
there's just so much
I
more
think that's a
transparency we
direct
have.
relationship to like who we are though, and like kind of the relationships that we've built.
Well, I think a lot of direct advertisers though are looking for relationships with affiliates now, where before
Oh,
I think they
gotcha.
just pass off to the network. So I think things have changed in that respect. There's more streamlined information available from like
I
both
see what you're
parties as
saying.
opposed to having the broker in between. Because so much
Yeah.
can get lost with the broker. Like I value a
Even
good
now.
affiliate manager. Yeah. A good affiliate manager can completely transform your campaign alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Who are your best affiliate managers?
Brooklyn is definitely awesome. Karen does a killer job. Those are the only ones I really deal with too much. I'm trying to think of who else is
I
out
think
there.
Brooklyn and Bora top tier right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Bora's solid. I just don't deal with Bora.
Yeah. She's a tough one to
She's
deal
funny.
with.
She's good. Yeah, she's fun though. Jason's
Um,
solid. There's lots of good
there's
ones.
tons, man. There's tons of good ones. Well, you know what? I take that back. There's tons of shit ones, but there's lots of there's
Yeah,
like a handful of really good ones.
no doubt.
Um, cool. Anything else you want to touch on that?
No, it's just that I think the industry in a lot of respects has got better. The other thing too is I think a lot of like shadiness that exists in the industry has got cut down big time as well.
Yeah. Nobody's got time for that shit. I feel like you're hard
Too many
acts and
lawsuits
like
and shit. Yeah.
even now, man, like I am by no means a shady marketer, but I find that companies are really tightening up because shady marketers try and come in and like, for example, on auto insurance, someone tried to hit a COVID angle and that kind of like blew the industry up in terms of lead gen. Like companies just started going super tight on stuff.
Yeah.
To the point where like they were the amount of info they were trying to request from you as a marketer was insane. Like they wanted your like business name, your address, your domain name. They wanted like absolutely all
Everything.
your information, like you were signing up for a freaking bank account or something. And it just made it so much harder. So now like I'm like like before I was like, yeah, I'll test some random stuff and if I get in trouble for it, I get in trouble for it. But now I'm like, no, I got to be by the book or else I don't want to miss that payment, you know?
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. Next
Daniel Shake.
one.
I think
Yeah,
that's how you say it.
similar one.
Shake.
Shake?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's a new opportunity that you guys see in the mid-COVID era?
It's kind of the same, man. I mean, I feel like more people are buying online just due to necessity. Someone made a valid point that the seniors are being more trustworthy of buying online because they have no choice.
Yeah.
Like I feel like as an older person, if you don't really know the internet, a majority of the time you're gonna be like, this is all just a scam. What is this? But now since they've had to sort of be forced to do it, like if you want stuff, you got to buy it online. There's a little bit more trust. So I feel like it's kind of just opened the market a little bit in terms of that. Everything else seems similar to me because I feel like the internet or like COVID really didn't mess with the internet too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. What about
I
you?
think a lot of businesses have turned to more online options as well, knowing that, traditional means they just couldn't do it the way they were doing it before. So like, okay, maybe we actually have to figure this whole online thing out, because like networking meetings were minimized big time, and just any social gathering or events. I think it's
Yeah.
been able to just give people new perspective. And then with like, them starting to see the lead costs and how things work, it's just getting more people involved in the online world. That's what I would say initially to that anyways.
Yeah. I wonder what, and you might know this, but has Zoom stock spiked like insane?
I think so. I think so many of these digital swaps, like look at even, was it Bezos is the first like $200 billion dude?
Yeah.
Like, Amazon's gone through the roof,
That's insane.
or at least his net
Yeah.
worth has. Yeah. Even post
Yeah.
divorce. Look at Jeff go.
Man, he doesn't care. He's living his best life, divorce or no
Yeah.
divorce. All right. Fucking T King, the man, the myth, always on here. The only person we're missing on this podcast is Mark Barry asking something. He commented that we finally answered his
Hey, Mark,
questions.
step up your game.
Bro, you asked so many, it's hard to keep up. T King, would love to hear more about your Facebook ad testing process and how it varies with dynamic ads versus standard. Also, how you methodically decide whether to continue running an ad set when it's not profitable at first. That would be great as well. Man, I kind of run shit differently than most people. I don't even run standard ads anymore. I feel like every time I try, costs go up. I almost feel that Facebook favors when you start using their systems like dynamic ads. In terms of scaling, I kind of touched on it last time. When I'm using a dynamic ad and I kind of find one that's like really popping off, like you can break down and see which image is doing best, which title's doing best, which headline, all that stuff. What I do is I just turn that into a dynamic ad with multiple of the same image. You can rename the image, or you can just put it in as like different sizes and it'll let you do it. And then I just scale from there, because you're kind of just forcing Facebook's hand to only focus on that one image that's good, that one title that's good, that one headlines that's good, and that one call to action that's good. And then you can scale that way. I don't actually have a methodical process to doing such. I just see what's working and what's not. This kind of goes against what I'm sure a lot of people do. I don't let my stuff ride. If it sucks in the morning, I kill it in the morning and then just relaunch it the next day. So I kind of do stuff day by day. And if it looks hot for that morning, I let it ride until it's not. A lot of the times when I'm scaling, I'll put kill rules set up on Facebook for lead cost. So if a lead gets past, let's just say $10, I set it to kill that ad set, and then that way I can go live my life and do what I got to do and not stress about that. Like when we were down in LA, man, we were like making some decent money and I wasn't even looking at my stuff all day. It would be like a surprise when I'd come check it. We also lost a lot of money because someone fucking hacked our shit.
The DDoS attack 3 days in a row.
Oh, they hate us, man. You know what's interesting? That domain got one again the other day. I got a notification.
Really?
We don't even use that domain. Anyway.
Oh, good. They're wasting their time.
Yeah, man. So that's pretty much it. Like I let stuff run for probably about 3 hours or so. So by the time I wake up, I can check it. And if it's working, I let it ride. And if it's not working, I kill it. I don't try to like let stuff hit a certain amount of spend. I don't really try to let stuff go for a certain amount of days. I feel like if it's dead out of the gate and the metrics don't look good, I just axe it.
In and out.
In and out. Ryan Palmer. Dynamic creative
It's actually
never
Ryan
seems to...
Palmer.
All right. I think he's from Australia too. I've chatted with him a couple times. Dynamic creative never seems to pick the lowest CPC and CPA combo. Do you still scale with it? So I do, and I kind of answered that on the last question. And how do I say this? So in the dynamic breakdown, when you see all the images and all the like titles and everything like that, there is going to be cheaper CPC and CPA. But what I find is it's only doing like a little burst of spend on it. So let's say you've spent $500 on a ad. It's going to allocate like 400 to one of those ad images, and then it's going to break up the rest of the money to the other images. Let's say you have 5 images in there. But what I notice is if those images had more spend, your CPA would go up and your CPC would go up. It's almost like that little bit of burst spend is kind of just giving it like making it look like it has really good results. But then if you actually let it ride out, it wouldn't have those good results. One way to do it is take the one that's getting all the spend out of that dynamic ad and see if it'll display spend better on those. And you can just keep doing that to the point where you only have one image in there to actually get a true reading on it. But I know exactly what you're talking about, and it does appear to do that. But there's always a way around it. You just have to make more ad sets with less images and just keep on cutting and cutting and cutting until you get a true result.
I like it.
Yeah. Anything else you got, brah?
Not the top of my head. We are setting up some exciting podcasts pretty soon. I'm pretty excited about some in the e-com space and some other ones. So watch out for those. And then any other questions, just keep them coming in. We have been slacking.
Yeah.
I've been super busy, which we were talking about. I know you've been busy with your car and stuff too.
I've been busy doing work too. It's like a hard mix of like work and car stuff. I'm kind of like focused on a little bit of fun right now, just because I know it's going to be Vancouver here in a bit. It's just going to be like,
yeah, no doubt,
cold. Like the rule kicked in now. I can't even like drive my car on the highway due to winter tires. So not having winter tires.
Oh, really? Is that how that works there?
Yeah, I can't go past like Horseshoe Bay.
Wow.
Yeah, unless you have mud and snow
keep
tires.
on tightening up.
Well, I think what it is like we get all like there's a lot of kids with supercars here, and they'll just like drive to Whistler on a snowy day in their supercar and be like, I didn't know. And they don't know, right?
Didn't you find a dude like stuck with his McLaren in the snow one time?
Yeah, right outside my house. I have a video of me driving it with like summer racy tires on it, and it was impossible to get that thing to move. And he barely spoke English, and I'm just like, get out. I'm like, I'll do this for you. And it was a mess. Yeah, it was funny.
It's funny.
Anyway,
good times in Vancouver.
Summer Tire Club always comes out when it snows.
Yeah.
In full force. All right, guys, that is going to wrap up this one. We will hit you on another one here. We're going to try and do more of these question ones, even if it's not a Q&A. We have a lot of topics that we're going to cover just because I feel these are very helpful. And also it gets our views up. Straight up gets our views up. People want their questions asked. So this is very helpful. So
we have questions, we have answers.
Yeah. Like this video, subscribe. And if you have questions, pound them with us. We are ready to help you out.
Rebecca is waiting.
Yes. All right. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.